Good evening and welcome, Free Enterprise fans, to a very late night stream. My name is Dathis. I'm going to be your restreamer slash technical background support with Flurry14 as our tracker, and we have our two commentators tonight of Mechalink and Gambit017. I'm going to toss it right on over to them.
Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to this late night cap between Smaepdii and Eiklopfer. I am Gambit017. I am joined by Mecha League tonight. How are you doing, Mecha?
I'm doing all right. All right, we've got a Rosa start. Okay.
I'm
Rosa
looking forward
start.
to a nice Rosa start. It's going to be fun to see.
Yep. Rosa's often considered one of the best characters to have. So Rosa start, while maybe a little weak on the in the beginning, quickly powers up important spells like Berserk and Blink. Can help you get through the early game. Aim's perfect accuracy can help you get through a tough spot. And if you ever find an elven bow or a good bow or some good arrows or both, then life is really great.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them, both runners, go straight into doing a little bit of looting, see if they can find a better bow for Rosa. Because the start bow, while a great start, you really want to upgrade that as fast as possible because you're not going to be getting much out of it for very long.
Right. And this is a seed where this is a flag set where we have seen people do shop checks quite frequently. So I expect to see all the shop checks for arrows and bows that you can handle.
It'll be interesting who we end up getting paired with today, as well as what our objectives end up being, to see if we end up with a standard loot baron, loot damn start, or if our key item ends up sending the runners on a mad grab to, magma key down to the underground, or even darkness crystal straight to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, those are always interesting to see. The thing that I'm interested in is where, like, Rosa doesn't. One of the things that's kind of weird about Rosa is that she doesn't have exit, unlike the other white mages, and so you don't have that early game mobility that like a Tella has or that a Purim gets. So like you can. If you don't stumble into that early exit, right, like your early mobility gets hampered, and then you start making decisions based on it. Do I do antline without exit? Well, probably. But what do I really dip Eblon Cave without exit? You could get bailed out with a Tello, or you could end up finding somebody that doesn't have exit and walking it out.
Yeah, it really changes your ideas of, do I want to do West Hobbs? Do I want to go take a look at the Watery Pass and see what's down there? Again, if it's a hook start, do I really want to go down, dive the hook right now, and then have to risk walking the character back out, or just restarting? So it can really affect the way the runners go.
Yep. And of course, in these flag sets, there's the every character is going to show up once, and then we'll have one duplicate. Fusoya and Edge are a little limited in their exposure, and we have a start.
Let's see who Rosa gets paired with, and it's a Tella, so there's your source of exit. Odin, our first boss, and a Sand Ruby, so immediate new character.
Yep, so 3 characters to start. Is pretty obvious they're going to go north quickly and grab and check that out. As you mentioned, Tella's starting exit makes him good. He also has some of those early utility spells, and a starting cure 2 means that even in the first battle you put him in, he's able to heal you.
All right, so let's see what objectives we end up with today. Well, looks like we already got one objective freebie right out of the way, so then we get the Sand Ruby. That's Big Whale, Secure Fever Sand Ruby, K Magnus, which is everyone's favorite music, K Bahamut, and it gets Cecil.
So from this point on, it's essentially find Twin Harp, find Darkness, find Cecil. That is a small set of objectives, or rather a small set of things to.
And I think we need to have a talk with our Seed Roller Dathis for giving them a foo at Sand Ruby.
And a Dwarf Axe out of the Baron Inn means that the back row glitch is online for all the melee wielders should they stumble in. Aegis Shield, one of the better shields for those heavy users. Eiklopfer going down for the water checks, which is something we don't often see here.
So they look like Cure 3s in Kaipo, so that's something to remember for later on when we're getting close to butt time.
Yep, Cure 3s in Kaipo. I saw an Ogre Axe there, but nobody's buying an Ogre. We got an Archer Bow, so minor upgrade for our Rosa.
Honestly, Archer Bow, I'm not sure if I actually take the time to equip Rosa with that. It's not enough of an upgrade for me.
That's fair. Smaepdii going straight for the hovercraft without checking chest.
Maybe he feels having Fu, Rosa, and Tella, he feels confident enough that he can get through early game without too much loot.
I didn't see what Fusoya's spell list was, but it's very rare that the early Fusoya has, a decent spell. So yeah, it looks like Smaepdii's going back in for a little extra action.
It's not a bad idea to just go ahead, launch the hovercraft, go back in, and get some looting done if you feel like you need to. And Samurai Bow, that's going to be nice for Rosa.
Yeah, Samurai Bow is worth it. And that was a Siren too, so we've got some leveling options. Yes, it's very empty. Second Siren?
I gotta check. There might be some gold left in the bottom of that chest.
Just scraping at the bottom.
Looks like Smaepdii is heading to check in the Mist Cave, see what boss is there. Not a bad. Well, no, we don't really have any bosses we're looking for, so I don't. Maybe just looking to see if D-Mist is hiding.
This is a Fusoya level, right? Like get Fusoya as second or third levels, get a level 2 spell, and start cranking through bosses, right? Like getting a level 2 spell is what it takes. Baigen, yeah, with Lit 1, not great, but probably. I didn't see any attack items so far, so.
No, I haven't seen either. They might have, I think, a Thor Rage in the starting loot that they get, but. Yeah, that's a very, very weak starting set for Fu there. So definitely gonna need some bosses to get some better spells up on them.
Yeah, this is not gonna be a fast kill all the same, and didn't back row glitch Fu, which is possible. So his melee damage is going to be effectively halved, which really would help at a place like this.
I don't know necessarily if we're going to be relying on food damage. If we are, we're probably in a very bad situation.
Oh, it's mostly for this fight, right? Like we saw him do 108 to the middle body, right? Like if he'd done 200 there, right? Like that's a lot closer to that thing being dead.
But he does get through Baigen. Going to get a couple extra spells on Fu.
Cure 2's not what we were looking for. We weren't looking for a second Tella. We were looking for a second Pound.
Yeah, it's a nice. I mean, yay for those spells, but not what we wanted right now.
Cecil is on the mountain, and Mylon and Friends is at the spot. So this is, and Cecil was an objective. So this is. Wow, like we are essentially, we have to hope that Twin Harp is buried somewhere if we want to see a.
Well, at this point, we need Darkness Crystal, and then the Twin Harps at Cave Bahamut. We're just like, let's just follow the circle and get on through. So in the meantime, Smaepdii heading down Antlion. Going to give us those chests there, and then our first look at the boss.
Honestly, I really like this check. As I mentioned, we have exit here, so Antlion's a fast check. A lot of stuff to pick up, a lot of money, a lot of equipment, and your characters still need it. And the hop spot can honestly be a little slow a lot of the time. As we noticed, even killing Baigen with far fewer HP was not a fast kill. The Antlion spot is almost always a joke comparatively.
Maggie pointing out in chat that we found a light sword in Antlion, so when we get Cecil Paladin form, these will have a nice weapon.
And here we see the back row glitching of Fusoya. The back row glitch being a standard Final Fantasy IV glitch where if you once somebody's got the back row bit on them, that back row bit sticks around forever. And so just slap some ranged weapons on somebody and...
Alright, so as we approach the boss, let's see who's hiding down here. It is Octoman.
Octoman being a physical boss is exactly what you want to see here. The physical at this spot is a little weak because Antlion's whole threat model is supposed to be the counterattack. So Octoman against back row people tends to do exactly that. 1 damage, right?
Even so though would this technically be considered a French vanilla Octoman since, you know, switching to Waterfall is just kind of one boss over?
I don't think so. I think these spots are far enough apart. There's our Ice 2 and a Pink Tail. So it takes 2 bosses to get Fu online, and that is enough for me.
Meanwhile, Eiklopfer went through West Hobbs. I didn't quite see what he got there, but take advantage of Tella to exit back out.
Yeah, are you sure it was a black belt? I saw a black shirt, and I did see people start equipping the black shirt. But, yeah, now Ice 2 is going to make this fight a lot better. Shirt and belt. All right.
Yeah, right now our runners just kind of retracing their own each other's steps, kind of doing backwards checks. Nothing giving us anything new yet.
But now you'll see the speed difference, right? Like you'll see, you know, Smaepdii gain a few moments on Ike because going to be able to tear through the Mylon spot, you know, much more effectively. Although I wouldn't have killed Mylon first. That makes the gas melee attack, and sometimes that's a problem.
That's an interesting strategy, but maybe just trying to go through quick and get back around the food, cost another Ice 2.
Okay, that melee attack's not good enough here.
But definitely threw that fight a lot faster than Ike was.
Yeah, no, that's having the Ice 2. Did we get Quake there?
I did not see if it was Quake. I saw Lit. I saw Lit 2.
I saw Lit 2, and I saw the third spell must have been Stone, not Quake. Stone's still quite good. Enemies that don't have the boss bit on can often be hit by Stone. Even some late enemies can be stoned for value. And, of course, any bosses that are free, as we refer to them, also able to be taken down with Stone.
Not to mention the fact with the 2 sirens we picked up, those will be able to, if we use them on the underground, we can stone the eggs for the free XP.
Yep. Waterfall's got a door.
Now, it looks like Smaepdii's going to take on the wall just to get some more spells for Fu.
Yeah, I mean, really hoping to see Quake or a 3 Virus, where like any of kind of the mid-game magic spells would be nice to see on that Fusoya. And Fusoya's already got, you know, 800 HP, soon to be 900, right? Like that's, you know, better than starting Sid, better than starting Edge, right? Like that's significant amounts of HP. Ordeals is not going to be a problem. I would kind of be surprised if he even bothered doing Fabul at this point, didn't just go straight up Ordeals.
I found a white robe sitting in the grass in Silvera.
Wow, a free white robe. That is a high value item to find in the weeds. White robe is endgame gear for white mages. And we've got 3 people who can...
Oh, sorry, not white robe, wizard robe.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Wait, that's I'm like, white robe? Okay. All right, wizard makes much more sense. Wizard is kind of the standard early to mid game gear. One of the problems with mage characters in this game is that they don't really get body slot upgrades until the very late game. We found our arrows. And a change rod.
Change rod's gonna be good for food, get some black magic buff.
Right. Fuga has good spell variety, but even though stats are better than Tella, they're not black mage stats. So getting that change rod on. Venom, Cure 3, and Slow. I mean, the Cure 3 is maximum healing at this point, so that's a good tool to have in the toolbox.
It's like Smaepdii was going to leave and realized, oh, wait, I defeated the boss. I can go some treasure hunting. So, Guided Drum is going to be a nice early game.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised here because, you know, I feel like Smaepdii's got enough power to get the job done. And yeah, Ike is going up the tower. They got Ice 2 at this point, so they've got exactly the offensive power that Smaepdii does, minus the change.
Yeah, so Ordeals is probably a nice play here. Try to get 3 more bosses for Fu, get some more spells.
Yeah, I really like getting those. Like, this will get Fu online of, ooh, if this is Rubicon, that Ice 2 is nice. And it is.
That's exactly what you want right here.
Crunch.
And we see Smaepdii following in his footsteps, heading right up Ordeals. So would you like another fiend? Here, have not so as well.
Is Lit 2 gonna get there? That is a good question. It is. All right.
My question is, was the wave already queued up, or did he get it in time?
Yeah, but at this point, with Fusoya having such a high HP and having taken a chunk out, they're still probably just gonna win the spot.
Yeah, wave doing less than 100 damage a pop. That's going to be an easy mode there.
And notably not trying to sneak in an ice spell. The weakness is such that ice is the weakness when the water's not gathering. Going for all lit spells is a little slower on the damage, but a little more conservative to make sure you don't get waved again, which seems strange given that we know that the wave is... Smaepdii not even changing. It's going... No, they did change. Okay. It's going straight in there as well.
Yeah, with Fu getting some of the spells they're getting, don't think either runner is really scared of whatever's up here on Ordeals.
Cracking a Gaia drum for extra speed on Smaepdii's side. Smaepdii's side.
So I picked it up in the waterway. It's not really good late game. Might as well use it now.
And then here we see the Ice 2 coming out. Dragoon Spear in the Crystal Chamber, so not exactly what we were...
Yeah, no cane right now to use it, but if we find one, it'll be nice.
Ooh, and we burn a free boss on the crystal. You hate to see that.
Ike gonna take advantage of stone and just take care of them all at once.
Yeah, that'll work. I mean, Ice 2 probably would have done it too, but...
On the bright side, we've got some more spells for Fu. Tele gets all his spells back. Yeah. Cecil's a paladin with a light sword and crystal shield. We're pretty much online as it is.
Yeah, Fu got his warp to go with his exit, so he's got full mobility, and we picked up wall as well. So...
And Tele learned the most important spell of the game, Medio.
Yep, Medio, the ultimate black magic, 99 MP, 10 wait time, a whole bunch of area damage. It's certainly a spell.
I'm almost hoping we run into a CPU somewhere soon so we can see Medio get cast.
Yeah, it's always nice when Medio is actually the correct spell to cast. Of course, we don't have the MP glitch on, so unlike vanilla, we'd actually use a Soma drop to get Tele that 10 MP.
I know they found one, but I'm pretty sure both have already used them on Fu. Speaking of, with that spell set, Fu has learned Weak.
Yeah, we have Dragoon armor, so Cecil's defensive setup is fairly strong. Ike is going to do Fabul at this point because all we've got left is Baron in and Fabul. Cabin Seed, everybody's happy to see cabins. We have all learned the value of cabins due to this flag set. We took them for granted. No.
Oh yes, cabins are the most wonderful thing in the world. You always want to get at least 10, maybe more, depending on how many times you think you need to save. It also prevents you from having to use the inns, which, while it's not a bad option, is a little bit of time consumption.
Yeah, none of the inns are kind of free in terms of movement. Oh, Fabul.
That is... We did randomize this seed, right?
Well, note that it is we have alternate Fabul on, and alternate Fabul is not the standard Gauntlet, but is still the monsters chosen from the area. So we're going to see Imp Captains, very similar monsters to the Gauntlet, but in different array.
So not quite vanilla, a little bit French vanilla then.
Yep, definitely. I don't think lightning works well on cockatrice. I've seen this spot multiple times, and I'm pretty sure that lightning is not the weapon of...
another situation of our runners differing. Smaepdii heading back to Baron Inn. Loot a little bit and see if he takes on the boss here.
All right, having never done Baron, right, then this makes even more sense, right? Red Cape is Palom, right?
I believe so, but don't quote me on it.
So I mean, that's another, another powerful mage option. This spot only has like 400 HP split between 3 people, so if only they had a functional area option, this would be done with. For instance, some sort of a, I don't know, say a Gaia drum, for example, would have mopped up this spot quite well.
Yes, if only a runner had picked up a Gaia drum and had it on their inventory.
Yep, if only. Yeah. Fatal, Psych, and Float, and we have Yang at the Yang spot. This becomes a free boss when you have Cecil in the party, and he doesn't die in the first 2 rounds. And it looks like Cecil's got the survivability we need.
Yep, so this will be over nice and quick, and Smaepdii will pick up their 5th character.
Ike has slogged through the Gauntlet, and the king will give them not a black sword and a boat, as it would be in vanilla, but Twin Harp required, and now it's just a Darkness Crystal. And there's Magma Key in the end.
So does Smaepdii take the Magma Key and run straight underground, or is he going to head back to Fabul first?
I personally enjoy doing panless pan. So that's like, might as well do panless pan, honestly. But we will see how they want to run.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go underground, check the Fame Arch for the pan itself, do some shop checks, and then go do panless pan and Sheila 1 and Fabul at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that sort of routing. Here, I mean, Ike has one spot left to check, and it's Baronin, so that's where they're going. Smaepdii is fighting the inventory boss, selling all those iron arrows.
Yep, inventory boss is the worst boss in the game.
Certainly eats up a lot of time. We've got Sylph and heals and softs and alarms in DJ Baron spot, so nothing doing there.
Looks like Smaepdii might be heading back to Kaipo to pick up those Cure 3s now.
I think so, with all that money that they gathered. That seems strange to me, though, because they know they have Magma Key, and downstairs you're going to run into sirens, hourglasses, and coffins. If they didn't pick up life before, that's certainly worth it. But those are all 5,000, 6,000 a pop, so you really do want that money.
Yeah, the more money you have when you go make those checks, the better off. So that way you can make all the purchases you need and not have to come back.
Yeah, interesting. Ike is trying to DPS karate down rather than. All right, Smaepdii is doing more shop checks up top.
So someone did tell Smaepdii this is Fabul Gauntlet %, not shopping %, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Picks up some Cure 2s to go with those Cure 3s. Got Kamikazes. 4 Kamikazes is quite a few. You generally only need the 1 or 2 for Plague at a rough spot, but...
Well, with Cave Magnets required, you gotta figure use them to... If you don't have your party metal-fied, you can toss them to get through that quick cutscene quicker. Yep,
it's very true. Yeah, a kill by Kamikaze does stop it disables the boss's long death. So if it's at an element spot, it does get you that quick kill. So this.
Or playing the long game, we might try to see a swag Z kill with the Kamikaze to prevent the nice crumble.
I mean, it's important to think about the long game, and Smaepdii is an experienced runner. I am sure that is something that could be on their mind. We see a place to buy Soma drops, but Smaepdii does not does not put Tella to 100 MP.
Yeah, we see Ike going back to Mist Cave, going to take on that bike and get a little bit more spells for Fusoya. Getting through there a lot faster than Smaepdii did.
Yep. Illusions and Thor's Rages. Well, you don't need the Thor's Rages, but the illusions will be nice.
Well, Thor Rages could be nice. Well, again, we know where Odin is in the first spot in Baron Castle, so...
Yeah, I feel like with the multiple Black Mage party that we are not particularly worried about Odin at a 4,000 HP.
Good point. We got Tella and Fu who have lit spells. Tella definitely having lit 3.
We've got Silk Webs and Star Veils at Agart. That is pretty stacked for an item shop, I agree. While we do get to start generally with 3 Star Veils on these flags, you often want a few more. And you almost always want at least 1 Silk Web, if not 2 or 3. And despite Smaepdii being the first one to get the Baron Key, it's Ike's the first one to drop it off.
Yeah, Ike saying, let's get underground and see what we got down here.
Right, man. I mean, Ike did a number of shop checks already, right? Like having done Silvera before, for example. But
and I'm a little surprised Ike's not going ahead and with K Magnus being a objective, going ahead and taking on that Twin Heart, get it out of the way.
It's certainly an option, but since we don't have any more boss objectives, right? Like you're not getting anything. And Twin Harp with a mage heavy party is rarely a great idea until you get Nuke. So I can see fading that until either Cecil is online or you get a physical fighter, because that spot generally has max M defense, and the last thing you want to do is take a spot that's only got it's got sub 10,000 HP and make the fight slow.
That's a good point. With that mage heavy party, they won't be doing too much through there. Ike finding a rune axe up in Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, rune axe is great if we pick up another melee fighter for sure.
It'd be nice if we end up finding Ashura somewhere too. Switch it to Cecil, let him go to town.
Yep. So Ike checked the shops and outed. Smaepdii taking a look at Bahamut doing a.
Oh, sorry, Smaepdii. This is complete Cave Bahamut, not Kill the Bahamut, Boss Bahamut. So not gonna get you much.
Only 8,000 HP here. Damage isn't top tier, but with multiple wall casters, like this is something. We found sirens, and Ike buys a ton. So I think we know where Ike's immediate plan is. And it's a pretty good plan at this point.
The only question is, you want them scrambled? Do you want them over easy?
I think the plan's going to be hard. You're gonna just solid hard-boiled eggs, or rather hard-stoned eggs.
And Ike not giving us our job dwarf check, exiting right out without talking to him.
Ike, I am disappointed. Yeah, with multiple wall casters, they managed to keep 4 people alive, and they let Fusoya, who doesn't really need experience anyway, die. So that all makes sense to me. And Quack Kid got the eponymous Quack.
And Fu gets Blink, so that's going to be helpful.
White as well, so Fu's got a full end game tier magic, although that doesn't work on Dark Elf. And hey, it's Asura.
And I don't think Smaepdii picked up the rune axe. I think he just checked the shop and then went right into the fight.
Yeah, you're right. That said, this is only a 3,000 HP spot, so it's possible that the plan is to power through. We still have 1 weak caster if you can get him off.
Yeah, I was like trying to get Fu up and then see about getting some higher level spells off. Maybe that white.
Interesting. Ike did the shop checks, and having done the shop checks, is decided that they want to do Twin Harp after all. First to music.
Yeah, probably just going doing shop check and coming up back through there and then back underground after seeing what's here. Meantime, Smaepdii got a wall off on Ashura. He's getting the Cure 3's, Cure 4's bounce back.
And the level 1 Porum did not have enough, or Palom did not have enough mana to cast another Quake. This fight going surprisingly slow for having so many tools at their.
Yeah, but with the wall up, as long as they can keep their people healed for the most part, should be able to slog through it.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna lose. It's just that It's, again, like, since this is a race, right, like, a slow boss is a bad boss, right? And speaking of, on Ike's side, 2 of the 4 characters aren't weighed down by metal, and so has to sit through the whole spell sequence.
I don't know. If Fu had stone, I might have tried to stone the party right there.
Hey.
In the meantime, we're going to be quiet and let you guys listen to music, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Maybe yes, maybe no. It is Eyes on Me from FF8 for those calling it in the channel. And it's Waterhead. This is another one of our free bosses. 3 hits and it's down. We got the rat tail out of Dwarf Castle, lacking a hook that doesn't really help us right now.
It looks like Smaepdii might be making the keyless tower play.
Given that they haven't done Panless Pan, I find this interesting. But, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it at this point. We're running out of spots, right? The spots are Twin Harp, Top of Tower, Panless Pan, and the bosses at Feymarch, which are almost certainly a little big for you.
It looks like they're going to do some looting. Maybe try to take on a couple boss trap chests, get a little bit more levels.
Yeah, maybe. They don't give a ton of experience, but they give great. And just a power shirt at the Earth Crystal spot. So, objective completed.
Now, the real value there was getting that objective number 3 done.
Yep. Another easy boss, though, burned. We haven't even seen who's at the King Queen Evelyn spot.
That was a nice Leviathan pickup for Smaepdii if we ever find Iridia.
Sorry, by King Queen Evelyn spot, I meant the King and Queen of Summon monsters. Those could be those are often rough bosses if they have any sort of competence, and we've already burned a lot of.
Oh yeah, we're probably going to have some nasty looking bosses once we get down to the Feymarch.
And Ike has gotten his food to a white as well, so gonna walk into this fight and burn it down the holy style.
You know, we'll have to see if he uses the same strategy as Smaepdii doing putting Starveils up, or if he tries just power overwhelming to get through Bahamut.
With a white spell, I feel like power overwhelming sufficient. Smaepdii's really digging out these chests.
Maybe they feel like they don't quite have enough gear or good enough gear. Maybe looking for extra stuff on their cane or a better rod for their Palom.
I don't think we've seen any diamond rings or rune rings. Some protection rings would go well on the mages. Crystal armor really isn't what we were looking for. Not unless we find an Avenger.
No, but it does give Cecil a reason to be a tank, so.
It's true. Back row Cecil with crystal armor is one of the finest niche strats in the game.
I also want to point out, just for the record, I did not talk to Smaepdii about naming Kane after me before the siege, so I'm just kind of happy about it.
Smaepdii, ooh, the rare weak miss on Fuso.
So Ike definitely goes power overwhelming, gets through Bahamut without a... Oh, no. Take that back. He got Starvells up. Tello went down.
And there's Nuke and Quake on Ike. Ike is ahead on the boss count. Nuke and Quake are essentially what it takes to put Fu fully online as an attacker.
Yeah, there's not really much that you're scared of with a Nuke Fu.
And similarly, Kane is in and Tella is out. Rarely do you need a Tella when you have a Fu in the party.
Yeah, once you get Fu, Tella is just kind of superfluous.
Smaepdii has found all the trap chests and therefore is not checking anything else. It's going to save before they look at the boss at the top of the tower. Reasonable given all that time that they spent. Meteor and Virus.
Oh, now Fu can cast Meteor.
And he's got the MP to do it twice because they used a Soma drop.
So it'll be interesting to see. We'll be able to see the boss top of tower as well as who's in the Rubicante spot. Interesting to see if we see Demish there.
It is Element at the Rubicante spot.
That's not so bad to see. You kind of wish it was somewhere else, but you'll take it. With Dark Imps up here, it should be pretty free.
I mean, this is a spot that has physical attack, but you have nearly fully powered Fu. You have Quakes, right? Like, this is a spot that already has its HP divided, but yeah, we did pick up an Hourglass, so it is completely free.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see using Fu to possibly cast Fatal and using Life Glitches to get some bonus XP.
Yep. And Ike has finally decided to crack some eggs over here, or rather more eggs.
Yeah, we're going to power up his team, get them ready to go pretty much rough shed on anything else they find.
And I mean, that makes sense at this point, right? Like, we know that it's Darkness Crystal into Bahamut, and we don't have Darkness Crystal yet, right? Like, so it's feeling like you're going to have to beat the bosses at the bottom of Fey March, and if that's the case, right? Like, if Smaepdii's play here doesn't pay off immediately, then, right? Like, if it's not at top of tower, it's either at Panless Pan or it's in Fey March, right? So it makes sense that Ike's kind of hedging that it's going to be at Fey March.
Well, either that or it's going to be behind some kind of chain started by top of tower or Fey March, such as Tower Key, Luca Key, Baron Key.
Right, but the worst boss that you're going to face on the blue planet is the bosses at Fey March or Odin. Darkness at top of tower. We have keyless tower for Darkness Crystal.
So we are in no mode at this point. We know where the runners need to be able to complete their objectives. Well, just the two of them aren't quite there yet between them.
The big thing, though, is that the runners also know where they need to be. There are no secrets left in this seed except for who is the boss at Cave Bahamut.
Well, remember, Smaepdii hasn't done Fabul yet, so they don't have the Twin Harp.
Oh, you're right. They didn't. They were saving it for Panless Pan. So, yep, nope. Smaepdii now has to decide, do they want to do Panless Pan, or do they want to do Monsters, or do they go to the moon looking for Twin Harp? And if they go to the moon looking for Twin Harp, oh gosh.
Or even worse, if they just wait and go to the moon and looking for the pan, not wanting to do that check until they have a pan.
Right, right. I'd really hope that given their willingness to do Tower, that they're going to take the half second and just knock out the 2 key item checks and do Panless Pan, but it is not guaranteed.
Like finding a Baron Key in the Fey March freebie test, but the better prize was the Cursed Ring he pulled from the chest right before it.
Oh, we hadn't seen any in shop, so the Cursed Ring is a big win here. Cursed Ring is useful for various agility tricks. Final Fantasy IV's has an ATB system that is a little more like ticks in a tactics game than you might suspect. And the cursed ring helps you mess with that in interesting ways.
Smaepdii heading straight down to the Fame March again. I'm willing to bet looking for that pan, not wanting to go to Yang without it.
Smaepdii briefly tosses the cursed ring, realizes what happens about 3 steps away, and turns right back around.
I do not blame him.
2 moon bosses.
Which lunar sparkle do you want to check?
And yes, we did find Bacchus wines in the Feymarch shop, which is something we're probably going to want with this party. This is a party that's either going to go in with the mages under the required level 50 to be online, or right, like us really hoping to find a melee character in the moon spot to go Bacchus crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this party kind of right now is setting up perfectly for hybrid strats, using Cecil and Kane attacking, and then Rosa and Palom reflecting spells, with food just kind of sitting in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, that at this point, right, like, there's not a lot of more XP left in the seed, right? Like, or rather, where, like, every boss that you fight, every piece of XP you get puts you further behind, right? Like, so it's really going to be a question of how low can you go in, right? Because all we know is, like, you have to beat a boss at Cave Bahamut, and then you're done, right? So, are you really going to take Palom to 50? 52, rather? Like...
Glass hat from Pale Dim. I find it funny that both Smaepdii and Ike both went for the queen instead of the king first.
It's true. And both went for the palest of dims, the whitest of dragons.
Again, they both got the levels. They should be able to get, again, Ike's already through it. Smape should be able to get through it without too much difficulty.
Without a summon, this boss essentially just, if you don't summon on it, it just does melee. So the stack of illusions, the multiple white mages, right, like, this spot should be entirely beatable. The speed at which you beat it is a question, but 20 Bacchus wines, that will not hurt either.
And Ike going right back down and check who the other lunar sparkle is.
And it's D-Lunar. This is a very dangerous spot for D-Lunars because it's fast and they hit hard.
Yeah, I'm not sure which strat I would rather use. Just casting spells to keep the melee attacks, or just go melee on them to bring the magic out.
Honestly, I feel like you're gonna have better luck with illusion strats. Although Cecil in the front row is not taking enough damage, so it's very possible that you could just reflect Frog back onto them fairly effectively with Cecil.
Kane getting some good damage from the jump as well. Fu using nuke. Should be okay, just gotta survive a couple of hits.
Yeah, Fusoyar's not taking any damage from them either. Does he have a crystal ring? That seems unlikely. But nonetheless, it does seem like the D-Lunars just aren't doing enough damage. As long as you can beat the breaths coming out, you should be fine. I don't know that I'd be wanting to kill one of them because the other one starts firing. That's not fast.
Yeah, once they get into the fire mode, they're just gonna fire.
And you didn't beat the breath. But Kane finishes the job. A family can be caned, 3 frogs, and a dead child.
And all of that for Spoon. But hey, it's another key item on the way to 10 and possibly getting that double XP.
Yeah, that's a little anticlimactic, unfortunately. With that sick edge save, you were hoping that something would really pay. Both of them are doing it though, so no real time lost per se.
I having to go back to the save point and use the cabin so they can get their Fu or Cecil back up so they can use exit.
Yep. An unorganized spell menu. You hate to see it.
In the meantime, Smaepdii looked like they tried to use the physical strats, and Virus just came hot and heavy.
Yep. Now the virus that spot did more to Fu than the melees did to Fu in the back row, so it does seem like mage strats are where you want to be. You just got to do enough damage before that breath comes out, or have Kane in.
So Ike diving down into Sylph, going to give us our first panless check.
Yep, and here we're Ike doesn't know that Darkness Crystal is at the top of tower, so as viewers, if we want Ike to win, we're hoping that Ike finds the tower key from Sheila or something feeding from it, or a quick dead end that makes it obvious that there's only one path because there aren't many checks left.
Well, Ike also got the Baron key from that
you're right.
So
yeah, Baron key is a nice bad rabbit hole to go in. So yeah, that's not helping Ike at the moment. So Smaepdii though, like Smaepdii's got you know, the right, like got Fabul waiting and Baron, right? So if Smaepdii doesn't do Panless Pan, they might end up in the same Baron rabbit hole.
Yeah, right now, I mean, looking at, well, Sheila won's a white robe, so that doesn't really help too much. It'll be nice for Rosa, though. But
yeah,
Ike's got a slight read just because they've already done Twin Heart. Other than that, they're pretty much neck and neck.
Oh yeah, they're both very close. Both of them know where an item the other one doesn't have is, right? Like so. Right, like, is Smaepdii going to find his way back to Fabul? Is Ike going to find his way to the top of tower? And that's going to determine, right, like when one of them reaches actual go mode. Ooh, Smaepdii takes a breath wipe. I mentioned maybe not having enough damage to get them through them, and did not have it. Smaepdii spent a little less time grinding than Ike did, and it got him there.
Yeah, we'd be able to get some Star Veils up, or even just a single wall that might have gone differently, but went for the power overwhelming and did not quite get there.
No, it's rough. Yeah, like this is we're seeing Ike having taken the extra time to grind out some levels. I mean, we're seeing the difference in just the amount of damage that they're doing and the amount of damage they're taking from D-Lunars.
In the meantime, Ike is diving through the Baron Sewer, going to give us that Odin fight, and we'll see who's in the Baron Throne. Now this time, Smaepdii getting the Star Veil up early on there for him.
Hopefully it's not too early. See, that's perfect, though. When your AoE cure balances and hurts them, just like you drew.
Looks like Smaepdii's just sitting there waiting for the breath, gets it, and gets both dealers to fog themselves.
Perfect. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it only ends up reflecting onto one of them and your life is miserable. But this spot is so fast that waiting it out makes a lot of sense. And now it's just a matter of beating up two frogs. The biggest thing about the frog status is that it reduces an enemy's evasion to 0 no matter what. So you're going to get all the hits of your multiplier in here. And that usually ends up being a boatload of physical damage.
The bright side as well, because lifing up everybody Paladin, Rosa, and Kane are both low HP, so Cecil will cover them for the whole 1 damage.
We've got we've got a bomb that turns into 6 bombs on the throne. So again, the multiple monsters in a trench coat sit atop the.
They all sat on top of each other to make themselves look like king, and we took this robe off. I like getting through that fight with absolutely no trouble.
Yeah, nuke. Quite a spell. And we find Edge. Edge, I think, is someone you want to see here if you know that Darkness Crystal is soon. What?
Taking away Hallam.
Knowing what we know, I think that that's a great choice. I don't know what I'd think if I didn't know that Darkness Crystal was close, but then again, there's only so many key item spots left in the world. They know that they're going to be in go mode soon. And like I said, are you going to take Paladin to 50 too? And I don't think you are.
True, so it's going to be a pure Zerg strats for the most part in this seed.
Yeah, you know you have Bacchuses, you know you have melee characters, you have decent, if not amazing gear, right? Like I've done the 4 Berserker strats with far worse gear than this.
So we find a pan in Baron, so I'm wondering if I can run right back down to Sylph, bonk Yang, and end up with a much more rabbit holes.
They are still pursuing this particular rabbit hole. Smaepdii is going to where they need to go. He is going to check on Yang, which will send him back to Fabul, which will get him the Twin Harp, which will put him in actual, finish objectives and go mode. Finish objectives, grind, and go mode. So Smaepdii looks like they will avoid getting rabbit holed, unless, of course, they do Baron because of routing first, at which point they might well find a rabbit hole.
Well, hopefully once they get the Fabul and they end up with that Twin Harp, they'll immediately go there and then go Moon.
Yep, we've got Luge in the Odin spot. That HP divided over 4 virtual mobs is going to make this pretty easy. And Smaepdii is checking Fabul first. We know that this is the play that will pay.
Yeah, so right now the best case scenario for Ike is going to be a tower key from this Odin spot, because that would push them to the correct spot. Otherwise, if it's anything else like Earth Crystal or Luca, it could just throw them down another rabbit hole. Yeah,
I mean the best case is tower. I think is tower key, because that makes the routing like you're going to do tower key before you do pan. So I think that's exactly it. Otherwise, they might do pan. They might bounce back and forth, finding out that pan doesn't have anything, and Lord forbid pan have Earth Crystal or something. Smaepdii going through their gauntlet.
They're probably going to have a lot easier time of it than Ike did, just because of the amount of levels they have now.
Yeah, I mean, Quack Kid can quack, and RPG Mel as Fusoya can also quack. So this should not be, this is well beyond being a problem. It's just a question of how fast can you burn it. Luge is down from the Odin spot. Not as much experience as you were expecting, but at least it's dead.
And all you get's a ribbon, so it looks like Ike might be heading straight back for the pan.
That's certainly the densest possible check set. We will see whether they want to make their routing cleaner and do tower, or whether they're going to hold out hope for a tower key.
Ike also giving us the nice poison walk, which is always fun to see.
I don't love seeing it, but I love hearing it. I always run flash effects off myself, but I love hearing it.
Alright, so moment of truth for Ike. Let's see where he goes.
Yep, I mean, they're going for the pure density play. I can't blame them for it. We just know it's not going to pay off.
And we get the rare 2-4 with the poison and the damage tiles.
Yeah. When your HP's at 1, it doesn't matter anymore.
Alright, so time to whack a monk and see what we get.
He's a deep sleeper. Very deep sleeper. And there's Tower Key. That is the thing we want to see on the Ike's route back up. They should check Tower rather than going to Sheila. That does save them a little bit. And they might not, like, now it's who can do, is Twin Heart faster than Tower? And in some senses, yes, and in some senses, no.
Yeah, now it's a race. See, okay, who's gonna go faster here?
Now it's a race. It's a race. Ike's a little better ground up, right? Like, right, like Smaepdii's not going to get anything that they want out of this Twin Harp location, right? So Ike's going to get a little more experience. So Ike's a little ahead in experience. Twin Harp is a long cutscene, but Tower is a long walk. This is definitely going to be a race. I think this is going to be a tight one, a fast one, but a tight one, and I like to see that.
Now, does Smaepdii ever go to Tamra and find the sirens? I know I saw him fly down there. I didn't see if he checked the shop.
He did check the shop, and he did find sirens. So we know that Siren Grind is online. I didn't see buyable hourglasses, but we do have sirens. We obviously have access to a weak grind, so D machines are available, sirens are available. Key item wise, neither of them is going to hit 10 at this point.
No, Ike should get 10 with the darkness crystal right here.
Oh, you're right. No, Ike does have the extra key item, so Ike is going to hit 10, and that only further helps Ike make that grind effective, whereas Smaepdii is going to cash this in, and we know there's not a key item here, and so Smaepdii is going to be going to the moon with 8, and crystal will only be 9, right? Like, so unless Bahamut Spot gives a key item, Smaepdii's grind is at, and assuming that they don't have to grind to beat Bahamut, Smaepdii's grind's at 9, so it is going to be, I mean, these are little things, right? Like we saw that Ike's extra grind, right, like let him beat the D-Lunars first time through. We saw, right, like these little things, right, like really end up like shaping the end of this fast race, and that's typically what happens with a in a jet seed, is that there's these little things that really get you. Smaepdii getting a faster self-kill on the Dark Elf first cycle. Ike has Darkness Crystal now and are headed right back out. Yeah, by not doing cannon, Flurry pointing out, by not doing cannon, why? I mean,
maybe I miscounted his key items and was trying to see about getting the 10.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, like this is just a little extra time and no experience really, right? So this is just time burned. They're hoping for a good item out of this. Oh, we have music, so. This music is from Final Fantasy VIII. It is Eyes on Me, the love theme from Final Fantasy VIII. So yeah, it is going to end up like even with the tower key check, they're basically going to be on their airships at
Yeah, I fully expect to see them both raising the whale here within the next 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, they're both going to be raising the whale and at the same time, more or less. Can't exit from here. All right, and Ike is taking the fact that they have 10 key items and going to they're choosing their grind as sirens. They've already set up for it well before, so this seems entirely reasonable. They're gonna.
This is not a bad
grind.
play right here, because
no, I think it's fine. Like,
yeah, I'd say we've got no pass right now, so right now our only Romus access is through the lunar subterranean. So might as well go out to the moon, do Cave Bahamut, get your crystal, and just walk it down.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good grind choice. Like I think any of the grind choices that you have open to you right now are completely reasonable. Right, like we haven't seen hourglasses, so I'd probably shy away from doing double dragons. Although with 10 key items, I might. But yeah, and here we see Smaepdii. Smaepdii. I'll get that right at some point. Raising the whale.
Right now, the only thing that would probably propel Smaepdii back into some semblance of a lead would be if there was hourglasses in the Hummingway shop. Otherwise, I think Ike's got a pretty good plan trying to grind here and just get out of the way.
Yeah, I agree. The last time we saw that whirlpool in vanilla, it was a Leviathan, so the fact that something good came out of it this time is nice.
Alright, so it's a Divine Smaepdii. I go Hummingway shop, check for those hourglasses, and then straight to Cave Bahamut.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the hourglasses, then I don't think that's the correct landing spot, but it might be.
I do not think so either, and Smaepdii agreed.
But if you find hourglasses, then yeah, you get a slingshot, right? Like you take a grind fight in Cave Bahamut, right? Like then if you want the character going into Lunar Subter, you take them, you do one slingshot fight, and you're golden. And there they are. All right, so now they both have comparable grinds. Smaepdii getting paid off by going to the moon, and so this is back to, Smaepdii will probably have the levels they want faster, but their party's a little worse unless if they take their mages to 50, 52 level and get them their full hybrid strats.
Yeah, if I'm Smaepdii right now, I do exactly what he's doing. Go to Cave Bahamut, see who the boss is. Preferably take on the boss looking for that 10th key item and then do a grind.
Yeah, I like that. Ike has, as I kind of hinted at, stopped with Rosa at 46. Taking Rosa to 50 is just too many sirens to burn. And is raising the...
Smaepdii's going to actually stop and immediately grind upon getting to the ground floor of Cave Bahamut.
I think taking one fight is probably reasonable. I don't know that I'd take too many, but I think that one fight at this point, that Purim is really low level, and your real character's only barely into the 4,000 or into the 1,000 point.
In the meantime, Ike is raising his whale. He will soon be joining Smaepdii on the moon.
Another Fusoya weak miss. What is happening here?
I'm almost at that point. Go ahead and move food to the center just to give him that, bonus slot.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on with Boo has missed week twice this seed, and it's very odd to me. I don't know why. I'm curious what Foo's gear situation is. Cracking a second siren here. This I love a little less. And yeah, Ike has no need for hourglasses. Ike is a cyborg. They're going straight for a K-Bahamut.
So even though Smaepdii went into the cave first, Ike's probably going to be the first one to show us who the boss is. Alright, Ike making his way around the path. Coming up to... Oh, nope, doing some this way before showing us.
Switching Rosa into full healing mode. That makes sense given her levels.
It's Dark Elf.
Alright, Rosa getting Cure 4 in Smaepdii's setup. Going for a third siren. Yeah, they're not assuming they're going to get a key item off of Bahamut. I mean, they probably won't.
Yeah, it's probably a better go ahead assume you're not going to have the key items bonus and just get the grind out of the way now and then get the boss and go.
But yeah, we look at Ike, right? Like Ike's levels, where like their HPs are all, a couple hundred ahead of Smaepdii's.
Yeah, Smaepdii's going for nuke on Palom could be here a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, like I said, right, like when you go on a jet seed, right, like mages are often a liability. Getting to level 50 is requiring level 50 is hard. We saw this kind of tight leveling a lot more in Highway to the Zenith Zone and Hummingway. In this flag set, it's often the case that you end up over leveling because you have to check everything anyway. But yeah, in these faster seeds, yeah, mages are rough.
So only a defense sword from the K-Bahamut spot is Kane's best weapon, but not a key item, so Smaepdii would definitely be under. But it does finish everything for Ike. He is now in go mode.
Yep, and I mean, at this point, I think defense will be better than light. Yep. Yeah, defense and Dragoon or Gungear, right? Like we have high tier weapons for them. I mean, I went to Zeromus with a light sword the other day, and Ed was still on a double short sword. So
well, sometimes you just don't get the gear you want.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about that 8K DPR.
So Ike looking like they're heading straight into the lunar subterranean, about to check the character, and then head down. We'll see if they does any more grinding, or if they're content with where they are and going straight to Z.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they could hope for here is like Iridia or someone that's just going to tank their agility. Edward doesn't quite qualify but I mean, it's still lower, right? Like if you're not going to get any use out of Rosa, you can do it, but probably leaving Edward here.
Yeah, so unless it was earlier in the seed, if we got the Darkness Roots a lot earlier, maybe pick up the Edward for Edward strats, but at this point, nah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a curse string, right? Like, if you didn't have a curse string, I think that the calculus is much more real, right? Like, you're doing Berserk strats, you want agility anchors to be low, right? Like, as low as possible. So, 20 Fu is fine, but, a 9 Edward is finer.
So for this seed, it's going to look like the egg grind is going to beat out the King Rio grind as Ike is on his way down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the King Rio grind would have been essentially equivalent if there had been 10 key items in play on Smaepdei's side, but that is not how it broke down.
Yeah, as Smaepdii keeps going through sirens, it really looks like they're trying to get to nuke on their Palom. So
yeah, and that's going to put him behind. I mean, mind you, Ike is going in at the ragged edge of Zeroma's killability, right? Like some bad rolls, right? Like their gear is not top either, right? Like they've got a white shirt on Rosa, but the other people are running a little rough on gear. Like a bad set of turns could do some damage. So it's certainly not a guaranteed win by any stretch at these levels for Ike. We'll find out about butts soon. And don't need to worry about it quite yet. We're getting close.
now Ike has 13 sirens left. Looks like they moved to the bottom, so definitely not thinking about grinding at all. Looking like they are going to go straight down.
Yeah, now we're doing anchor checks. Yeah, I mean, I would be the plan is to anchor Fu, make him 5 agility, and by putting him at 5 agility, it will essentially mean that the rest of the party will be as fast as you can be. Again, agility anchoring is somewhat complicated, but for our purposes, the important thing is that everybody in the fight will be as fast as the last boss, except for Fu, who will be slower than dirt.
So it is at this point, even though chat jumped the gun a little bit on us, that we have a question we'd like to ask. Would you do the honors today, Mecha?
I will gladly. The question that we'd like to ask, because this is a randomizer, and because we can't move Zeromus because of his complications and his difficulty, we like to have a little other fun with him. The question is, of course, whose butt are we going to kick this late evening / early morning, depending on your time zone? So get your Z flags out. Let us find out what butt is going to be placed in front of us for Ike to attempt to kick and put themselves at 2-0 here. Or if they wipe, right, like, can Smaepdii catch up? Smaepdii.
So I'm looking for Ultramus. I really enjoy seeing Ultramus. I know that Tara loves it whenever they see it. So that's my guess tonight.
I like Time Devourmus. It's a really cool piece of kind of custom art, building off of the Lavo sprite and the Shala sprites. I really like that.
Oh, the crystal is thrown, his true form emerges, and tonight we are going rabbit hunting.
Oh, duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season. Rabbit season fire. No, duck season fire. Bam.
So good to see good old Elmer Fudd. In the meantime, Smaepdii has finished their Dark Elf, completing their objectives, and about to get their crystal.
Yep. The Fudmus is countering with Nuke. Puts Kane on his knees, but not down. Spoon to the face. Bugs Bunny would be proud. Spoon is an offensive weapon. That's right in his.
Yeah, so now the question becomes, does Smaepdii have enough time to get all the way down and using hybrid strats to even have a chance to catch up, or is Ike going to be through this before Smaepdii can get there?
Ike's Cure 4, it usually has a very fast cast time. Did not get it off on Kane. Kane is down and wasted a turn on Fusoya. This is the kind of thing that could compound and maybe give that chance to Smaepdii.
Now Rosa immediately using a life 2, getting Kane all the way back up.
Yeah, life 2 is not a fast spell, but Rosa is, because she's not at 50, right? Like, she doesn't have any offensive options. She's doing backup.
Now you see the effect of the Cursed Ring on Fu right there. His Cure 4 doing less than 1,000 per.
Exactly. Right? Like, this is, like I said, this is the kind of tight sort of nerfing Big Bang / trying to survive Big Bangs, right? Like Big Bang in the virus kind of wipes that you could see in the Highway to the Zemus Zone or Hummingway flags. And we're going to, that's, like I said, this is going to be a tighter fight than we usually see in these races. And that might just, might just give Smaepdii the chance to get down there and make this a race at the end.
Smaepdii actually getting rid of Palom, taking the Edward for an agility anchor, and immediately gives him the curse ring.
And damage dealer down, an edge, again, just slowing us down, right? Like, we're only getting like 4,000 damage a round, right? Like, this just is not going to be a fast Aromas fight.
Now, right now, Ike's just going slow and steady, trying to just whittle Z down.
And it'll work, but like I said, it just opens you up to the big bang into virus, big bang into nuke, big bang into Meteo style wipes, or just a high roll, right? Like, big bang can do as much as 2,400 damage if it hits for all its rolls and your magic defense isn't good enough, and 2,400 damage will kill 3 of his 5 characters.
Yeah, I think the biggest fear for Ike right now is going to be a big bang into a Meteo combo. That would possibly put an end to this fight very quickly.
Yeah, big bang into virus or big bang into Meteo are both. They can wipe what looked like an otherwise completely reasonable fight.
The Smaepdii taking the save down in the lower screen. Looks like they are going to be heading straight to their Z fight as well. And Ike taking a big bang, popping a couple of Cure 4s, trying to see about getting everybody set.
There we go. With everybody up in Berserk, it's about 7,000 around. That's certainly a more reasonable damage number as long as they can keep it up.
And the black hole coming out, having to reapply the Berserks.
Yep, black hole clears all status effects from your side of the field, and negative ones from FUD, although not slow, strangely enough. We've got rocks. Ike is close and probably going to manage to pull the...
Yeah, Cecil getting right into their fight, but Ike's probably going to finish it up here in just a second. And there's the crack on Flash, and Ike here is, or Eiklopfer, sorry, is your winner. We're just waiting for the final official SRL time.
But get your GGs out in chat. They have won this race between them and Smaepdii. 1:19.25 looks like the official SRL time.
Definitely GGs. That was a almost low-level party, but they took it in there. Were able to keep going and pick up the win.
Yeah, no, there was a race. Are we joined by some?
Hi, this is Eiklopfer.
Eiklopfer. Now we know the pronunciation for sure. Congratulations.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we've been butchering it all night, but I apologize. And GG's.
No problem. Thank you very much. It's an exciting race. Real lot of fun on that one. Thank you for having rolled that early foo.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know at this point that Smaepdii likely finished right after you. So yeah, it was a race all the way through. If
Yep,
Smaepdii's still in their fight. They're not quite done yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know whenever I'm in that Z fight and just nervously looking over to see if someone else is gonna dot done in front of you there, and so definitely made me I think a little sloppy in that fight. So I was happy when I got to the end. Really breathed a sigh of relief there.
Yeah, we were watching as you went. We were watching your routing options, and we kept kind of hoping Smaepdii ended up with the Darkness Crystal before you.
Ah, yes.
and then everything kind of going through. We're going, hopefully gets the tower key for either Odin's spot or Pan, and ends up with that tower key. Thankfully it happened and pushed you up there.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. If I hadn't gotten that tower key from the pan, I would have just continued to skip right past it, hoping to not avoid that double dip. But it coming out of pan, I was right next to it, so it's like, oh, I might as well stop here. And boy, was I happy when I saw that darkness crystal.
Yeah, and now we're going to see whether Sheila 2 had another key item to rabbit hole you. Like, worst case would have been like Earth Crystal or something, right? Oh, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would have followed that chain for sure.
Yeah, the two of you really had different routes. You went ahead and did the Fabul, the Gauntlet fight early, whereas Smaepdii kind of faded that until after he got underground and did Sheila 1 and Fabul at the same time. So you were able to get Twin Heart out of the way while he had Darkness Crystal. So that was kind of a little bit of difference at the beginning, but you really pulled ahead with the egg grind before going up to the moon.
Excellent. Yeah, I was this close to also resetting that Fabul Gauntlet fight, but I knew how strong of a runner he was, and thought he might not check this, and this is my chance to get ahead. So a lucky check, really, but it did pay off.
And I think another important thing, and it's a kind of a minor thing, is that because of you got this, you got the pan, right? Like you did just enough more checks than Smaepdii, that you got 10 key items, and Smaepdii didn't, and that made a huge difference in your grind speeds. And because like it looked like, and like we said, like Smaepdii had darkness, right? Like he got Twin Harp. Right, like you essentially could have gone to the moon at exactly the same time, right? Like, but you did a 10 key items egg grind, and he did an 8 key items double dragon grind. And
given the times, that seemed to be just all the difference there.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's all the difference, but it's a lot of it. Like, I think that was, minor things, right? Like, but, and you all your choices, like between the two of you, made perfect sense in the scenario, but just little decisions that you made turned into, right, like game changers.
Quick little interruption. Smaepdii's mismenued and actually tried to cast Sight against Z, so that was quite funny to watch.
Oh no, nothing happened.
Well, at least you get the counter nuke.
Yeah, so it's like Sheila 2 is Legend Source, and thankfully that wouldn't have rabbit holed you too much.
Right, at that point, then there's, like, the only thing left is Keyless Tower, right? Was there... Oh, no, you had Luca Key, right? You could have done Luca.
Yeah, I had just gotten the Luca Key.
Wait, no, you didn't.
I probably would have actually done that.
You didn't just get Luca Key. No. Luca Key was off tower, right? So if tower...
that's true. Like, so if I had checked tower, I would have been fine.
So yeah, you would have been right. You would have only really had tower left to do, or a demist hunt, right? And I feel like you do tower before you do a demist hunt.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
maybe check the off-bound spot, but other than that.
Right. Exactly. But still, right? Like that could have that tower key just helped you gain those few extra crucial moments.
It's definitely for sure.
Yeah,
and Smaepdii has just now finished. It's about 6 minutes behind. We'll get the official SRL time in a second.
But yeah, you both did the King and Queen of Summon monsters in the same order.
Yeah, well, look at those 2 moon bosses. You're like, well,
yep,
just pick one.
Just pick one.
That's another time difference there as well. Smaepdii had some problems with the D-Lunars. Ended up taking 2 different wipes before they finally got through.
Yeah. Again, I had the Dragoon Spear for Kane, and pretty much my trigger to even go there was Fu learning Nuke, so I'm not sure if he had those 2 things, but they helped a lot.
He also went in with probably maybe 5 less levels, did not do as much Siren grinding as you did beforehand, and so like I think that we saw some serious survivability on some of your characters, like Fu took hits without falling, right? Like, and like those helped you a lot.
If I've found Sirens and I have Quake Kid, I am always making the stop for Quake, so.
Yep.
That was a good pickup. As Smaepdii, or as Mega said, Smaepdii didn't actually do any sirens at all. Just used the early bosses to try to get levels to get that Quake going, and it definitely ended up costing him in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Smaepdii, I think, fried one egg, but you fried like 3, right?
Yeah,
like,
2 at one point and swung back another for a later one. Yeah,
exactly, right? Like, so, I mean, I think that like I said, like you just had a little more defense than he did, and then you survived, right? Like, you survived parts that he wiped, in that very close fight, right?
So do you have any other thoughts or overall thoughts on this seed?
sure. I was definitely kicking myself, maybe overtaking that edge. I wasn't too sure when I remembered I had no weapons for him, if I really should have just stuck with the reflex strats with 3 strong mages. I had a spoon to throw, so it worked out, but that was one of those things I was kind of questioning and even wondering if I should jump back. But happy with my choices, and definitely a good seed.
I think that's certainly another interesting point in the seed. I personally think that the melee strats were the right way to go, even without particularly good gear. But right, like you can like kind of take a look at that yourself, right? Like in terms of like what your leveling grind might have been like.
Yeah,
but yeah,
sure.
no,
I didn't have to stop and get holy on Rosa, for example, so it was definitely faster.
Right. So yeah, I mean. That said, right, like you had to run a tighter Z fight than we have had to a lot of the time in these flags as well. So.
All right, well, we do appreciate you letting us restream tonight. Good luck in the next round. Look forward to seeing who your 2-0 opponent is. I am hoping it's not me.
Great, and thanks for everyone who put together the restream. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. Gambit correctly noting in the chat our featured runners that you should certainly follow for giving you this nice, close, 5-minute difference race. And Darthus is our restreamer and Flurry is our tracker. And it sounds like we're joined by Smaepdii.
How's it going?
GG, Smaepdii, good job on your run.
Thanks. Little note: if you're in a tournament called the Fabul Gauntlet, maybe you should check Fabul. Pretty seems reasonable.
I mean, I don't know. The flip side is that if you double dip Fabul, Rivers comes out of nowhere and like clocks you upside the head.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Was like, well, I've got this strong start. I better not do Fabul right away because Rivers would be upset. I could just see him in the. As like Principal Skinner walking through the river to come get you, like he's coming.
Well, I mean, it did serve you well putting it off because by the time you got there, you had Quake and you were able to actually get through it a lot faster than Ike did. But on the flip side, you also at the beginning of the seed after getting food from the Sand Ruby took a lot of time on that Bigan fight, whereas when he did it, he breezed through it because he did it later level.
Yeah, I when I did the keyless tower, I thought that had given me a lot of time, and then once I went back and did Fabul and got the twin harp there, I realized I probably don't have as much of a lead as I think I do.
And I mean, you are correct that the early darkness crystal actually did give you a significant lead, right? Like if at any point you decided to just do panless pan. Right, like you would have won, right, like easily, right, like, and just you kept doing other slightly more efficient checks in the underworld, right, like, and then you got tagged by D-Lunars, right, like, and that.
Yeah, it was. Oh god, I really need to like stop going to the Fame Arch, like period. That place is just a trap all the time. But no, it was the thinking there was well. Fu just learned nuke. I was able to slingshot Palom off the top of the tower to get Quake. I'm doing pretty well. I can go ahead and check the chest, see if any of these fights are doable, and yeah, I probably wasted more time there than I really needed to.
Yeah, I mean, the double wipe to the D-Lunars or right, like, and like it was close on Ike's side too. Like the Ike almost last location top of tower, right? Like on the earth, right? Like, So yeah, like you said, like you did have a bit of a positional advantage, but then right, like it just so happened that you never got around to Fabul.
Yeah, I'm also guessing Ike had a better grind because Ike got to the 10 key item threshold, right?
Yeah, I got the 10 key items and did an egg grind before heading up to Cave Bahamut.
Yeah.
So went into Cave Bahamut with the levels and was able to take out the Dark Elf and just head straight down without having to worry about it, where you did your King Ryu grind there on the moon.
Yeah, it was feeling really slow, so I just kind of bailed out, figuring, okay, I've got Kane online, I've got Cecil online, I've got Rosa. We can just ignore Palams. That's why I ditched Palams. Palams never even got to the point to learn Nuke. So that's why I ditched him for
and
Edward.
So Ike did Baron key beforehand, and Edge was at Baron. So he got to drop Palam for Edge.
Oh, okay.
So that helped him out a little bit too. Because yeah, like once you like
he got
once you had all, he did get to throw the spoon. So yeah, like I think when you watch it back, it'll be interesting. You'll see like 3 or 4 minor things that all added up, right? Like to just give Ike those 5 minutes. And I think it'll be an interesting rewatch.
Yeah, this is what I'm really looking forward to rewatching. This was easily the jettiest Fabul Gauntlet seed I've ever played. So like it just gave you so much right from the get-go, and all of the objectives lined up and no boss hunts. So yeah, it was really, really cool to see.
Yeah, it was really a bunch of just little things that separated the two of you, but that could have gone either way all the way up to the end. And it was a very, very fun and entertaining race to watch. So definitely thank you for letting us watch. Do you have any other thoughts on the seed?
Not really. Just want to wish Eiklopfer the best in the 2-0 bracket. I'm a little relieved I don't have to fight those powerhouses, but Eiklopfer's a super, super solid runner. I think he's going to do real well. And thanks to all you crazy people for setting up a restream this late at night. Really do appreciate it. And big shout out to something other in chat, who is always a constant inspiration and support. So thanks everybody.
Yeah. I love the constant inspiration and support. I know Marilyn and I have been working together. Tournaments like this can bring together the community in ways that, they might not have other.
So GG's again, Smaepdii. Thank you so much for letting us restream. We look forward to seeing you in the next round.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Take care.
All right, so that'll do it for us tonight. We appreciate you guys coming out to watch the race, all the support you've given us. Again, special thanks to Dathis for doing the restream tonight, Flurry for doing the tracking, Becca doing co-commentary with me. I think we are going to go ahead and pass you guys on to RPG Limit Break, who are doing the RPG Blitz 2020 marathon.
And note, we have 4 more races left in this week's Fabul Gauntlet. Starting at 2 Eastern tomorrow, Rivers up against Moonblaze Wolf and the Hex Mage and Crimson Avix. That Rivers Moonblaze Wolf fight, perfect. You want to be there for that one.
Should be on Free Enterprise, I believe. I'm still looking to get that finalized, but that should be on Free Enterprise again, 2 o'clock Eastern.
Yep, and then all the way up through Invenerable versus Dark Paladin, finishing off this round at 7 Eastern tomorrow. So yep, and then week 2 of the Fabul Gauntlet will be over, and we'll be on into week 3. So come back tomorrow, watch some more.
We appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.